Howdy guys, this is Ian. So I wanted to talk about my day one impressions of Chipp. I'm going to say this, it is day one. We don't know everything. I don't know how Chipp stacks up to the other characters. This is just me looking at Chipp in an isolated, just a bubble. So, I could be wrong, and I will stand by that if I am. But I think this is the strongest version of Chipp that we have seen. And the reason I think this is off of the first concept, and it's always been my biggest complaint about Chipp, is that he is a damage inconsistent character. Now, a lot of times this is matchup specific, so if you're fighting against a Nago or a Pot, it's not that, the matchups are unplayable, it's just that you have to hit the opponent so many times, and on the flip side, they only have to hit you 1 or 2 times. So what ends up happening is that the matchups, while they might be even in Chipp's favor, they're very hard to play because you can't make mistakes. And you're going to have to wall break 2 to 3 times realistically. Now, in this patch, Chipp has a lot more ways to get damage consistency. Whether this is from close slash being plus, changing our pressure game to really be able to crank risk. Same with the Gamma Blade change being +9, which is insane. I'll show some examples of why that's so crazy. But then we also have the counter hit confirms, meaning that, in certain instances we can cash out on more damage. Whether that's like in an air-to-air context, whether that's after plus frames from Gamma Blade or close slash. Like, we just have more access to different ways to get more damage. And then the last thing is that his win condition of breaking the wall and being mirror positive is significantly better than it ever has been. And I have a clip from a player that I want to show just as kind of a proof of concept as to why I think it's as powerful as it is. But anyways, we're going to start off with thinking about the pressure and why this just being +1 is as crazy as it is. So Chipp has a lot of fast buttons. He has a 3-frame normal and a 5-frame 2P and 2K. It's very, very nice. So we can obviously do some basic math. If I am +1 and I do a 3-frame normal, it basically means that he would have to have a 2-frame normal to beat that. And as an example, right, we get that counter hit. And what this is kind of indicative of is that there are a lot of matchups where your opponent feels like they're not going to be able to press a button because they're not going to have a fast enough button to beat this out. And it's kind of the same thing where, if we do, let's see, even getting a little combo like that is just a proof of concept to the opponent that you can't do this, and then I'm pretty sure I would be able to get a safe jump and just continue the pressure after that. So what happens when we have an opponent that does not want to attack is that we can start doing things like bow slash into close slash. Actually, let me show this first. Because of the new plus frames on this close slash, we could do things like this, where that delay is so much longer than you would imagine. And we can get a full combo off of that too. So it's just the whole pressure around close slash is so heavily favored in Chipp's range now, especially with how fast his normals are. It's just fantastic. And then I guess I'll bring up Gamma Blade. Gamma Blade is +9, which means we'll do this in the corner. It's a block string. It's a block string. There's no gap. Soul's doing the 5k after that because it's literally so plus that I'm guaranteed a far slash, which is the same situation, or kind of a similar situation as close slash being +1, in the context that my opponent does not want to press a button because Chipp can blow him up just doing strikes, which is very, very safe, and it's non-committal on Chipp's end, which is fantastic. And, well, Ian, I'm not going to hit them, they're just blocking, but you're building that, cranking that risk. And that's going to lead to the damage consistency that we're looking for. And I will mention this, the Rekka change, right? So we have this new Rekka, or it's not new, but it's essentially new. It's much faster. It's still very punishable. It's obviously just dependent on getting hit. The 5K is obviously out of range. But the thing about this is it went from, I think, about 25 frames to 21, which on PC I think is still reactable. But it's reactable in a hard to blockable kind of way. Meaning that you're really going to have to look out for it, because you know that after Rekka 1, we can delay that low. And you know that that overhead comes out pretty quick. You have to look for it. And it just kind of gets us to that situation again where it's, you know, Chipp's going to go in between. He's going to be able to basically condition with the idea of this, right? And then he's going to go in for a throw. And then he's going to go into a 2K, right? It's the threat about getting hit that makes this so strong. And frankly, just on the topic of the overhead, we don't get a big combo anymore, but my mindset is that move was already so high risk that it was almost counterproductive to the design of Chipp. You don't want to have a move that's reactable and a Hail Mary in the hopes that you might get like a counter poke 2K to do a big counter hit combo. I don't agree with that design, and I think this design is significantly better, even if the combo is much worse. I think the last two things I want to address is that we now get some better combos off of air to airs, right? That might be too late. Let's see. Do that. Okay. Let's see if I can spitball something. Yeah. The combo dropped, but it's the concept of it. Because of that counter hit, it's just another moment where we're gonna get more damage consistency, even if it's broken down into little, 94 and maybe 120 with a wall break from an air to air. That's very powerful. And the fact that we're getting a wall break, that damage, we're not spending meter, which I think is actually one of Chipp's, biggest aspects in this patch. It's not as meter dominant as you would think. It's just really, really good. All right, so last thing, when we do get meter positive, Chipp becomes broken. We can do these interesting concepts, basically because of the way that they changed the RC system, right? So we're going to retain a little more of that. Let's do this. We're going to retain more of the meter if we do a fast RC cancel. You see that it's just a little bit above the halfway. We can go into these pressure concepts like that. That's a block string. And when you have meter positive, you can just loop that multiple times. So this is a example from a guy, his name is Phase Zero. All right, let's pull this over. It's just a proof of concept. He's going to get the meter positive, and then he's going to go into the block string. And you can just see the implications of what this means. You can't do anything about this. This is a block infinite. And you see that risk, and you see the chip that's building up. Right? This is crazy. It's very, very powerful. Even if they do have FD, I'm pretty sure this is still close enough that we can continue this. But, as a proof of concept, right, it's really some impressive work. And, that's kind of just my general thought. Chipp's neutral didn't really change. We got a far slash buff, so it's more disjointed. That's fantastic. Alpha Blade is slightly nerfed, but at the same time, there's workarounds for it. Not that big of a deal. If anything, the Alpha Blade change is also a combo consistency, because you can do combos that are consistent across the cast. Certain combos would be harder to do on female bodies or big bodies. Now it just seems consistent across the board, which is just nice. You don't have to worry about that. So, I think that's my general thoughts. I'm really excited about where Chipp is as a character. The system changes really, in my mind, are really the MVP for Chipp. It'll be just a matter of seeing how he interacts with the rest of the cast and how the rest of the cast is interacting with this new system. All in all, very positive. Let me know what you guys think. Are you thinking about Chipp as in a good spot or not? I know that it's kind of debated right now in the Chipp Court. It's kind of funny. Yeah, until the next one. Day 1, by the way, so, you know, I could be wrong, and that's okay. But this is my initial thoughts. I'm very excited. Peace.